Welcome to Resilience Plus Rise, the podcast where resilience is not just a concept but a lived experience. I'm your host, Thomas Scaria, a resilience coach, a ultra marathoner, and a relentless believer in the human spirit's ability to rise. This podcast is a companion to my book, Resilience Plus Rise 26.2 Transformative Miles to Unleash Your Marathon of Life Mindset. Each episode is a raw, unfiltered dive into the stories of those who have faced life's hardest battles and have emerged stronger. Today's guest, Stacy Shewey. I've had the privilege of mentioning her name, or I would say as name dropping, about what resilience is all about. When you have got a vision and having that resilience to get into it with your own personal challenges. So, before that, let me talk a little about Stacy Shewey. She's a founder and the CEO of an organization called as Hands for Life. What is Hands for Life? In short, 70% of world's older population lives in economically developing countries, where there is a lack of focus and resources to address the need of the vulnerable population. Here we are talking about the older population. What Hands for Life does is that they equip families and caregivers and faith communities with skills, education, and spiritual support needed to provide daily holistic care to mind, body, and spirit. The vision for them is, as Stacy says, it's an intergenerational livability of learning, caring for one another. What they do is the older generation, they meet up with the younger generation. But I would allow Stacy to talk more about it. Stacy, welcome to Resilience Plus Rise, the podcast.
Thank you. You are doing such a great job of explaining what we're doing. I love it.
Thank you. So, Stacy, you have been involved with Hands for Life. And let's start with the main one. Of course, guys, this is a second interview with Stacy. I had the fortune for having an interview last year. And during that moment, there was personal challenges, personal turmoil, which she had gone through. And the way I look at it is that sometimes in life, it teaches you, at times with some hard blows, to be more resilient about the road that you're taking on. So, Hands for Life, Stacy, you have already been involved with it. But now it has become a part of you. Can you tell me about that journey, specifically from the Hands for Life, and your challenges and how you have been so involved and what it means to you?
Yeah, so you are right. It's a part of me now. It was birthed 6.5 years ago after I was working as an executive director for an assisted living memory care community. I took that job after being an entrepreneur in the hospitality business for all of my career. And I switched industries because my heart has always been for the aging population. I grew up in an intergenerational home with grandma and grandpa living downstairs, and it was the best experience. And they really shaped who I am today. And so I wanted my kids to know that intergenerational bond between a grandparent and grandchild. So my parents lived right next door to us, and we are living proof that family, caring for family, generations caring for each other in every season of life is so important. And Hands for Life, I left my job because senior care was not what I fantasized it to be. I thought my job was going to be loving on the elderly residents and caring for them, but it was all about the almighty dollar. And, cut staff, cut staff, cut staff, make more money, make more money. And I left there and I gave my resignation. I said, something bad is going to happen here and it's not going to be on my watch. I understand profit, but you don't do it at the expense of people's lives.
Mm-hmm.
So I took 2 months to really pray about what God wanted to do with me. And, here I am, Lord, use me. And when you say that prayer, he does. And so Hands for Life, he dropped into my mind that caring for the elderly, and I dug deep to find we are in a global aging crisis where there are more elderly people on this planet than there are 5 and younger. So
Mm-hmm.
60 and older than 5 and younger. So how are we going to care for all of these people? And so at first I thought we would build assisted living in developing countries. And God's like, no, I don't need more buildings. I need you to solve problems. Well, to solve the global aging crisis, the solution that he assigned to me is bringing in that younger generation, teaching the younger generation the importance of family, the importance of community, the importance of the 5th commandment of honoring your elders. So what we do is we are looking to build intergenerational educational campuses where we pair orphan children with orphan seniors. So orphan seniors, meaning those that have no family left, that have nothing and no one to care for them. So pairing the 2 generations, the seniors impart their wisdom to the children, and the children learn to honor and respect their elders. It's a beautiful concept, but Thomas, let's teach that sandwich generation, the 18 to 40-year-olds, how to best care for those 2 vulnerable populations. So you touched upon that I experienced a lot of trials and tribulations about 3 years into Hands for Life. I got to experience what sickness looked like. I had breast cancer, and then also loss, terrible loss. 3 days after I had surgery, we lost my 24-year-old son. He fell 10 stories into a stone quarry by accident, and that was just ripped my heart out of my already beat up chest. And then we went on to have my aunt, my father, and my mother all fall ill shortly after we lost my son. So I had to become a caregiver. And then we lost each one of them, plus my mother-in-law. So I was experiencing grief. I was experiencing, cancer. I was trauma just over and over. But the resilience that I found came from the Lord, came from not focusing on myself, but turning my attention to others. So serving others. So what we do in Hands for Life, we believe that we need to get back to God's original intention on how we are to be living our lives. We are to be living in community, not isolated. If I didn't have my tribe of people during that time, I would have fell into deep depression. I would have been, on antidepressants. I would have been an alcoholic. I would have been in major mental health crisis. But through running to Jesus and having friends surround me and love me and care for me, that's what gets you through trauma, gets you through the deepest, darkest days. And so that's what we're teaching in Hands for Life, is that it takes a village to care for each other. So can we teach the sandwich generation the best way to live using Blue Zone principles,
Mhm.
Natural movement, eating well, growing our own food, having community, and most importantly, knowing your purpose in life.
Okay. If I could just sorry, rudely interrupt over there, because
Yes.
in going to Blue Zone and the different norms over there. So I would just go back. You had breast cancer, followed by, I'm sorry again, about the death of your son,
Yes.
followed by the upheavals of health conditions of your aunt, your mother-in-law, and the other close members. So it was just one trial and tribulation after another. At times, when we are listening, as even I consider myself to be an audience. When I'm listening, I would say, yeah, it's easy to go and say, Lord, it's your will. But sometimes, in fact, for why sometimes, a lot of times, we are even the support we have around people, we are in such a despair. Yes, I believe when you said that you could have gone into depression, but there also has to be something from your deep within, from your core, that allows you. Because yeah, what we're talking about, these all are doors that you got to open the door, like we see the photograph of Jesus, Noah standing by the door, and you got to open the door. So the same thing, you got to open the door to allow him in. For your friends to come and hold your hands, you got to open that door so that they can come inside. Others, they would not be able to come.
Mhm.
So what were the elements, or what were the thoughts, or what was the mantra, or what was something that allowed you to go and open the door?
Well, I think that, it's not easy. I'm not saying that, like, I went through a lot of trauma, caregiving. Oh my gosh, I saw my father's entire body. I cared for that man, toilet, bathed, the whole thing. And my mom too. It was 9 months of physically living with her 24/7 in hospitals and rehabs and bathing and caregiving and advocating, and it is physically exhausting, mentally exhausting, emotionally. The whole thing was hard, and it's a conscious effort every single day. And to this day, it all started 3.5 years ago, and to this day, when I wake up, it's a choice I make. Am I going to see the light in the world and be the light? Or am I going to retreat and let the enemy come in? The enemy comes to steal, kill, and destroy.
Mm-hmm.
And he stole my son. He killed my son, but he did not destroy him. And he will not destroy me, because I know that we will all be together again in heaven. So that blessed hope of a reunion in paradise is what keeps me going each and every day. I am 100% guaranteed that I will be with my loved ones and with Jesus one day, because I accepted the free gift of salvation from our Lord Jesus. And it's a free gift.
Amen. So now So, guys, this is what I've just heard is that she has walked through the trials of fire. She knows what pain is. She knows what it is to lose somebody. So not only just anybody, but somebody very close to who you are. And that, I believe, helps Stacy to get to the next level of when she puts out her hand to help the intergenerational families. This Hands for Life, it's more in Africa, right? Or is it in the US also, or in North America, or any other part? Or is it just focused currently in Africa?
No, we work globally. So we are doing work in Florida,
Hmm.
where I live. So we are in Tampa and Jacksonville,
Hmm.
and we do community outreach. We partner with churches, we partner with companies. We've partnered with the YMCA to do intergenerational events and activities, bringing the two generations together, teaching the generations the importance of each other. We do a lot of awareness events to teach that circle of life, where you're to teach the generations that your parents brought you into this world. You should be honored to help them out. It's
Hmm.
not about the parents become burdens and you have to go live in assisted living now because I'm living my life. We are teaching that um, generations need to care for each other during every season. So we work here and we are trying to um, get funding to build an intergenerational campus in Jacksonville. But our prototype campus is going to be internationally, just because it's easier, Thomas, to build internationally. Here, we're working with our government to change regulations. There's so many regulations to protect those two vulnerable groups. So we have to change regs. And so there's a lot of work to do, but we're ready to build this campus in Africa. So we are currently working in Nigeria, Kenya, India. We've done work in Honduras. So yes, we are doing work, great things. We have saved lives. We have adopt, sponsor a grandparent, sponsor a grandchild program. $39 a month. You can put a child into school or give surgery to one of our seniors or a wheelchair. So a lot of good is already taking place.
I'm sure, because again, you are showing a way for the alone and the hurting,
Hmm.
especially when we talk about the older generation. They have done their work. In fact, that particular generation who has really worked and who has worked for the family, rather than it is all about me. Let me get my work done. I'm not bothered about how, because maybe it is a very judgmental statement, but currently, when you see there are still a good magnitude of people which come from broken homes, broken families,
Yes.
and for them to get into what it is about giving to somebody else maybe has its own challenges. So um, how do you convey that particular message to the audience that may not feel that sense of bonding?
Yeah, I'm sorry, what was the question? How do we?
How do you convey what you're doing to the maybe to few of the audience that may not be in that mindset about bonding with the elders or giving back? How do you do that?
Um, well, it's really by example
Hmm.
that we this is why we're coming up with a campus.
Hmm.
It's intergenerational educational campus to teach people, because the mindset, um, here in the United States is about, sadly, it's about, me, like I gotta have success in my career. I have to accomplish so much, but we want to change the thinking, and we want to build this educational campus to teach that this way of life, of just bringing life back to simplicity, right? Let's not make it so complicated. This is not about the latest and greatest technology or healthcare is going to get us longer health span and lifespan. We believe to increase your health span and lifespan, it's simple God-given principles. And let's go back to living the way that we did generations ago, before life got so digital and isolated. And let's go back to community, right? So nowadays, when you drive home, you push your button in your car, your garage door goes up, you pull in, you close it, and you never see your neighbors. Nobody is ever, going out. When I was a kid, the neighbors all went out in their front yards and socialized. And you knew your neighbor to borrow a cup of sugar or a tool. Nowadays, people don't know each other. So can we promote and teach that community is important? And this is what is going to reduce isolation, reduce the mental health crisis. This is going to reduce all of the aging diseases, obesity in children, and dementia, and all of diabetes, heart disease, by living in community, by getting out and growing our own food, not eating all these foods with pesticides and chemicals. And let's just go back to simple principles. So that's what we're trying to prove. And then we want to teach it, model it, and then have like master plan communities around the world where people start living like this simple community again.
Wow, that's beautiful. Because in my podcast, I say is that what I hear currently from you, Stacy, is that unfortunately for the older generation, they're just existing through at times their next chapter of life.
Yes.
But what you're providing them is a sense of life.
Yes.
That they are reaching somebody else's also, and that also towards a younger generation who has not seen the world in one way. And guys, just before I forget, I'll be putting out Stacy's website down in the comments below. Do have a look. If this conversation has touched you in some way or the other, do reach out to the organization, and you can have a lot of queries answered. And as she mentioned, it is not just confined to US, but also in Africa, India, Honduras, etc., different places. So what Stacy and her group is doing is that they are creating an impact. I'm not trying to be pessimistic, but hey guys, even you will grow old. So whom would you turn to when you want to hold their hands? Something to think about.
And Thomas, we just got honored with nominated for an award on the global scale. So wow. We get to go. It's Age Well International and Silver Eco, two organizations that throw a big senior aging conference in France. So we get to go and make a pitch on our innovative model that we're doing. So we get to go on the global scale and pitch this. And, it just goes to prove that this is a concept that people are interested in. And it's a concept that is needed, that seniors need to feel useful and have purpose. And by them sharing this with the younger generation, you know, they will live longer, and they have to transfer all of this knowledge and skill,
Beautiful.
everything down to the younger generation. And then the younger generation gets to fill in that older generation about all the exciting things going on in their world, you know, the technology. And it's just a beautiful relationship, right? And we can't lose this wisdom. We don't
Of
want
course, no.
it
I mean, of
needs.
course, now people say, yeah, the AI is there, I can know what it is. But then you know what? There's nothing which replaces the human touch or the
That's
human
right.
knowledge and the love which is involved with it. There is something which connects. That's the reason there's humanity.
That's right.
So, Trey, Stacy, just being mindful of the time, is there any last thoughts that you want to put across, whether it's about Hands for Life, or you want to say, give advice or a suggestion to the your listeners on this platform? Is there something that comes to your mind?
Yeah, I just like to say that, you know, to do this, it's taking the whole body of Christ. So we need people to come alongside us on this. So we invite everybody to reach out, get a hold of me through our website, social media. We're all over. Give your time, talent, and treasure to us. It's a big vision. It's an important vision, but everybody is needed in this vision. So I also want to say that this concept, this mission can be done right in your backyard. So go find a senior who is in need of just sitting with them and having a conversation, or, you know, cut their grass or shovel their walk wherever you are right now. If there's lots of snow, go shovel. It is a win-win, because it makes, when you serve others, you're really receiving the blessing.
Beautiful. That's lovely. Because again, gratitude is not just about you giving, because the person waiting for you to do something, you're in its own way honoring your own self.
That's right.
So you got to think about that. So Stacy, thank you so very much. But guys, just before I leave, I would say one statement is that when, let me get this thing right. If you're blessed, or if you believe that you've been blessed with more than what you need, it no longer belongs to you. Yes, you may say for your family or generation, but think over it. Your responsibility is to reach back and lift those who are still struggling to find their way. Here we have got Hands for Life, which is exactly doing that. So Stacy, best wishes on your endeavors, on your goal, and thank you for making the world a more better place. God
Thank
bless.
you, Thomas. Blessings.